Alright guys, so as you saw in the title and the thumbnail, this is all about the budget dual bridging night vision optics. So today this is my take on a very popular thing that's been happening within the night vision community, is having a fusion between both a thermal unit and a night vision unit. Now, as most of you know, for me, I am particularly a person who is on a budget. Like I don't have millions of dollars to spend, and I don't have like a bunch of, I just don't have the funds, the liquidable funds to just be dropping tens of thousands of dollars on a really good unit. Would I want one? Sure. Hey, if any of you guys out there want to send me some of those units so I can play with them, I'm down for that too. On my channel, you've seen me play around with a bunch of night vision, very on the budget-friendly end. So I've done thermals through a company that sponsors our channel called Vampire Outdoors. Good Night Gear sponsored our channel in a previous video for their NVG 30, which is this. And this I out-of-pocketed myself. It was such a good deal, I couldn't say no to buying it, so ended up picking this up on a Black Friday deal. But anyway, what this is about is bridging these two units to make one of the most budget-friendly units on the market. Now, when I say budget-friendly, I'm saying the same thing that everybody else is going to say. My budget is not your budget is not my budget. Therefore, what all this grand total may be well out of your budget and not considered something that you'd want. But for me, what I have done is I have done it as cheaply as Alright guys, so sorry about that. As I was saying, before my dog started going off, I had to go check what that was. Anyway, so back to the video. So the whole budget thermal night vision thing, it's relative. It's really relative based on your budget and what you want to spend and what you don't want to spend. Anyway, if you're like me and you don't really have a lot of disposable income, but you still want to do cool guy stuff and have fun, you got to figure things out. So for me, since I've always had my little YouTube channel, I decided to reach out to companies and find out who would want to send me equipment so I could make videos and, basically be able to play with some cool toys. And oddly enough, you have a lot of cool companies out there that will make deals with you. You make them a good video just for their, their advertising, and they'll let you keep the equipment. Not all, some. Vampire Outdoors did it for me, and Good Night Gear actually did it for me. Now, unfortunately, with the Good Night Gear side, I did make a pretty cool video that shows us using it on the gun range at night. It was this unit. Before I had this, mind you, was just this unit. It was just us using it. However, the problem was when I uploaded it to YouTube, it was instantly taken down because apparently some community guidelines about using guns on YouTube. And that's weird because there's 1,000 videos of people doing this, but for mine's, for whatever reason, got removed. And every time I upload it, I get a strike against my account. I'm still trying to figure that out. Anyway, so that being said, I only could really do a unboxing video of this. I'm hoping to get a little bit more like non-firearm footage with this, and hopefully YouTube will let that slide through my account. I don't know. Anyway, that being said, back to this. So for me, this entire setup here, I did not need to pay for this unit. This unit was gifted to the channel through Good Night Gear, and those guys are awesome. I did spend money on this, but I got this on a Black Friday deal. Also, my mount, the G24 clone, it's a clone mount, so I got that at a cheaper price, and the bridge I got at a cheaper price. So that all being said, let's break this down just so you can understand what's going on here. So grand total for my setup, including my helmet, and mind you, I've had this particular helmet since 2019. I use this helmet here for real steel shooting, and as you can see, because I have my walkers on here, and now I've been using this for night work to go shoot pigs. I also use this for airsoft, so it plays like a dual role. And mind you, when I purchased this helmet, it was nothing more than for me to not take a BB to the forehead. It's a little bit of protection, and you can clearly hear when you get hit when you're playing the game. As far as throwing the ear pro in, so I didn't take an BB into the ear, but the ear pro, being that it is ear pro and it has a sound option here, right? You can turn these on. They will actually, you know, enhance the sound around you. So when you're playing airsoft, you can hear where people are coming from. That's what this originally was set up for. And when I went to the gun range to shoot some real steel, then I would use these as drop downs, and it does the job. So anyway, this is a bump helmet. Now this entire setup here, just this helmet, was a total of $191 total, and I can break that down for you here. So as far as a helmet goes, we're just going to quickly go over the helmet. So the helmet itself was $90 on Amazon in 2019 during COVID time. That's when I really started getting into like going back to the range because I couldn't do anything else. Now the Razor Pros, these were $40. The arc rail adapter, this was $45. And the upgraded inside pads that I use, these are the upgraded gel pads. Like there's a whole bunch of other ones, but like this is what I'm used to, so this is what I was using. So I ended up picking up these, and I used a little bit of the stock ones just to kind of fill the gaps in small areas. This was like $16. So, you know, grand total on the entire helmet itself, because it came with the multicam, I didn't need to buy that. I already had the patches and stuff, so grand total $191. However, you don't need to go this route. Oh, this pouch here, this is a new addition. This is my counterweight. So I decided to make this counterweight because of the NVGs were heavy, and when I started really using the NVGs, I noticed I did need a counterweight, so I ended up just making one. So this right here is just a generic pouch with some aluminum melted soda cans for weight, and just clipped in like so, and that actually gives me the exact weight of the dual banded bridge setup here. Anyway, so back to the helmets. So here, so that's what that looks like. Now, do you have to go this route? No. You know, this is a $191 setup. This, $20 up here. Now, mind you, I did have to get, you know, I had to work on it. I had to make this helmet work. But yeah, the breakdown on this is the helmet itself, and no, mind you, this is all swap meet now. This is all swap meet and garage sale stuff. I didn't go to the store and buy this brand new. So this helmet I found at a garage sale. It's a basic Bell type skateboard helmet, right, or pedal bike helmet. I got this guy here for $15. Just there before I decided to do, I was originally going to try to put an arc rail in here, then I realized how thin this was and it just wasn't going to happen. But anyway, so there's a pre-drill hole. This has new vents. Anyway, helmet, $15. Now this is the key right here, this thing here. So I got this off of a airsoft swap meet that I went to, and the dude was selling, it was a bump helmet. It's kind of similar to this, but it's a bit more Mitch style. And there was a kind of a significant crack here. I guess he took a fall, and he was just selling gear just to sell it so you can put duct tape or stuff, which is true. For airsoft, it's not a big deal. But what I wanted was I wanted this. So I got that entire helmet for $5, and I ended up ripping off this bracket here. Granted, again, I have to make it fit into this unit here. And I did show that in another video, right? So, bang. I had to cut it all out and make it fit. But this thing is literally tied with hooked up with a pop rivet and zip ties. Now for the weight on the back, again, it's DIY. This is an old Oakley's eyeglass cleaning kit. And again, it's just weights, you know, aluminum cans melted down, weighted out, and zip tied to the back of the helmet. So as far as helmets goes, helmets can run the gambit. I mean, I've seen helmets on the market currently for like $500-600, and those aren't even ballistic. Those are just like Team Wendy bump helmets. And now if you get into the ballistic helmets, you're looking anywhere a couple grand, depending on, you know, where you get them, you know. So helmets, again, budget, 100% budget. This is my budget, you know what I mean? So you can go to a dirt cheap budget, or spend a little and get, you know, your version of a budget helmet. Depends on your budget. Anyway, so now back to the actual NVGs. So this and this, to make this setup, this is what you're gonna need. And to me, this is the setup that I like. Granted, I do have the Night Fox Prowl that I did try to pair with this, but it doesn't line up the greatest. This 2 units here, so let's just say you already have an NVG 30 lying around at home and you want to pick up the Rix K2 or the K3 because they're the exact same body. So if you get the K3, it's going to be a lot better imaging than the K2. But I got this on sale for, where did I write that down? I want to say it's like $250, $240. No. So on a Black Friday sale, I picked this up last year Christmas, like right before Black Friday, for $249 on a flash sale. So I mean, you know, if you pay attention to what's there, you know, you can get these. Now these average right now without the sale $499. So let's just say you wanted to get into this and buy this, just the bridge setup now. So you would still need your Wilcox mount. You would need a mounting kit, which the only one I found that I really liked was from this company here, Forge 301. It's a 3D printed unit, but it's pretty solid. I checked out their reviews and stuff, and everybody has nothing but good things to say about Forge 301, and it does do real world abuse. So you're gonna need a mount, which is right here. We'll break it down. So you have, for the thermal, you're gonna need thermal mount, which is from this company. You'll need the unit itself, which is right there. You will then need a bridge to bridge these two together, and you'll need a adapter to go to the helmet, and you will need your secondary night vision. So for this, like I said, this entire setup right here, without any discounts, right now, no discounts. This whole thing, not including the helmets now, this whole thing is, where do we go? Total setup $1,423.22. If you go today, currently, Thursday, April 4th, 2026. This, and the mount that this is on will run you $1,423.22. I mean, for a budget type of dual banded bridge set where you're trying to do a thermal and a night vision, I mean, man, that is really good, because this is quality stuff now. If you've ever messed with the NVG 30, this is fully waterproof, battery change out in the rear, record capability, and if you buy it from their company, they've been giving these wide angle lenses for free. So you already have that, right? That setup right there, bang. And then you got this right here, the Rix K3 out of K2 for this one. And the only thing you need to do is put on a adapter, and now you have full ability to mount this to your helmet. What I do like about this is, let's just say I want to take this off and I just want to run it as a monocular. It's still original in its original configuration, and if I really need to get deep into it, I can actually take everything off and go from there. But it's just one screw holding it on, and it's a solid mount. You go and go get a PVS 14 and all of that stuff. Sure, I mean, will a PVS 14 marry better to this and all of that stuff? Yeah, but you're also going to pay PVS 14 prices. So if you want something that is really good as far as mounting, and I was actually surprised on how well this mount here. I got this mount from eBay, from some random person on eBay for like what was this mount? This mount costs the DG mount $138.69. It's $138.69 for this mount. For the Forge 301, it was $59.99 with free shipping. Price wise, you know, $445 currently, $499 currently, and $85 for this mount. So you can essentially get all of that, like I said, for a pretty good price as far as a budget goes. Now, if you wanted to do a one and done system, but I cannot vouch for how good it is, I can only go off of what other people are talking about. That would be the Night Fox Prowl and Arctic setup. And the Night Fox Prowl itself, the Night Fox Prowl and Arctic dual banded, is going to run you about $700 from our boys over at Goodnight Gear. So they sell the dual banded, or you can get it from Night Fox store if you want to. But they sell it on there. I'll put a link for a discount code for that. Hopefully, I think I'll have a discount code. If not, I'll link it in there to Goodnight Gear along with my discount code. Please, if you guys do pick up anything from this channel, pick up anything using the links, please go ahead and support the channel by using my link. That does give me a little bit of a percentage back to help me make cool videos like this. All right, so all that being said, let's get this all put together and you can see what it looks like. All right, so let's get this out of the way, that out of the way, that out of the way. Now, what you would do first is you take your Rix unit. It's just a simple screw that goes to the bottom and slide it on and lock it on. Now, this particular unit does have a little bit of issue with being able to do selection menu stuff. So what you would have to do with this is preset everything to what you want it at, and then the only thing you need to worry about is your record button and your power on and off button. And then here's your diopter, and once that's in, you're going to choose basically left or right side of your face on which side you're going to put on. When I was asking around, especially when I asked the guys over at Goodnight Gear, they basically said it's personal preference. It's whichever eye you feel the most. So how I'm going to be running this is I'm going to be running this right eye night vision and left eye thermal. Now, my reasoning for this is I'm a right eye dominant shooter, which means that whatever unit I put on my gun, so if it's going to be a LAM unit that I can see a digital IR laser come out of the gun, I'm going to want to see it out of my right eye just as a natural instinct. So I'm going to run that this way. And then also, if on my firearm I'm going to run a digital scope or something, I can flip this up and out of the way and actually be able to use the scope itself off the firearm while still being able to keep the thermal down just to do a spot signature area, right? Signature spotting. So anyway, with this unit here, what you're going to do first, well, I'm not going to do it now because I already have this set up. You're going to loosen up these screws, and that comes, there's a little tool in this box, and basically what you do is you'll loosen these up, and then what you do is you put this all together, and then you'll dial left, right, and then you'll bring the optics closer or further apart depending on your face. And then once you get it where you want it, you take the unit off and you lock it all down. And that's where I'm at with that. This is all locked down already. So from here, you're going to take your unit and you're going to slide it into the dovetail mount here, just like that. And you'll hear it click. There you go. And you press this button to remove your unit. Okay, so thermal's on. Now for the DNVG 30, it just works out. What I like about it is, as you can see here, it is pretty much level as I can get these two to be. So like I said, I put the Night Fox Prowl version 1 on, and it was just a little bit lower. It kind of threw it off a little bit. Now, there are different mounts you can find that have more adjustability where you can unscrew this, it'll slide it forward, it'll slide it back. But again, those will run you about maybe like a $190 to $200 depending on where you get the unit from itself. And like I said, I just went to eBay. This is probably some Chinese knockoff, but it works. So having this up together like this, it has full articulation. Now, so this would go up like this, and then you can actually reverse it to come up on your helmet like that. Okay? So you'll take your G24 mount, and then you can go ahead and mount it in this way. And then this goes directly to your helmet. So as it sits on your helmet, you can kind of see how that will be down, right? Now if I'm shooting, and I'm going to use my firearm, I can just lift the unit up that way. I have line of sight on my scope, on my night vision scope. When I shoot, I can take a shot there, or if I need to lift that up, I can get that out of the way too, or I can get this completely out of the way and use my naked eye. And then when I want to lift this whole thing up, I'm gonna go like that and back to the helmet. In fact, let me just, this is right here. So it'll be up and it can sit back on the helmet there. And down. There you go. We're gonna go cut into some footage of what this looks like dual banded. I'm gonna try to edit the two images side by side, but I don't. All right, so we're gonna run a quick drill today with the DNVG the fish lens eye, and I'm running standard. Running a airsoft with a laser sight on it. And what this is going to do is you can hear that in the background, it's going to trigger my target system if I hit it, and we'll go from there. Some drilling practice. I will be using my sights as much as I can. So I'm going to try to focus this a little bit to the best of my ability. And every time I pull the trigger, there's going to be a flash. Alright, so we're going now. We walk through, look left, look right. Target acquired. Dang it. Watch our step. Behind the corner. Not a bad little drill. And that is what it looks like running the night vision NVG and a thermal unit of the same eye. I'm gonna try to get this in the video and see what it looks like. Hopefully I can edit it well. Yeah, nice little setup. Good time to do some training in the house. Alright, so you saw the video. It's the kind of the best I could get it to, so you can kind of see what I'm seeing, but it's really hard for me to describe how this unit works. I don't have the editing power to really do a proper overlay, but it's kind of just as you can see what I'm talking about, as I kind of did a quick walk around the house during the to test out the thermal and the night vision overlay. Now, that being said, these are very capable of doing the job that you need it to do. You just have to understand that there are weaknesses to it, right? So, like, for one of the weaknesses, if you're using a digital night vision optic, right, that requires IR light to see in the dark, well, anybody who has a or anybody who has a unit that does not require IR to see in the dark will be able to spot you like that. So anybody running a PVS 14 or greater, right? They will be able to see you, and it is what it is. That's the downfall in using digital night vision versus using the analog night vision stuff. But again, analog, couple thousand just for the unit. That's not including everything else. So as this video is meant to be a budget build, understand that your unit will have your unit will have you know, pros and cons, and a lot of it, when you start cutting the price on it, then you start taking away features that would be a greater service to you, if that makes sense. Anyway, so understand that, understand the capabilities, understand what you're using it for. Now, if you're trying to use this for like a shit it's the fan situation, you know, prepping or whatever, anything other than what I'm using it for, which is, you know, night hunting and airsoft play, will this suffice? Sure, as long as you understand, like I said, the pros and the cons. Now, so again, breakdown without the helmet now, people. 1400, 2322. What I got into it, 728.22 for my entire for the dual band head up setup, the dual band setup itself. Now, oh, excuse me, the dual band, just the setup itself, is 537.22. Now, if I add my helmet, the 191 comes out to 728.22. That is the entirety of this entire unit is running me right now $728.22 for this. Again, that's not including the batteries. Hey, if I gotta add batteries, because I did buy a bunch of batteries to swap these out when I'm working in the field for the long run. And again, that is a reason why you notice on my thing I don't have a battery system, because I'm running two separate units that run two different batteries. I'm just opting for the option to buy new batteries and have that on the side in a vest pouch or something. I just quick swap out what I need. Now, if you get some of these other ones, sure, they have these clip-ups where they run a battery line, come here, and it just hooks up and it powers both units. I do not have that. Again, something I ended up cutting on the budget because of the system and how I have it set up. So yeah, there you go. That's the full setup here, and as you can see, this is how it sits on the top of the head. So I'm going to bring it down. You'll notice I am running the bungees. The bungees is a safety in case this thing falls off your head. And it also helps keep it down tight to your, keeps the unit to the back, where it doesn't bounce as much. So right from here, it goes down one. Again, if I only want to use one side, I can click that down. If I want to use two sides, I click that down there. And left, right, center. I'm going to put my ear pro down. Put my ear pro down here. Like so. Got the ear pro. Head movement, articulation is really good. The weight pack on the back here is fine. Yeah, so gotta say, for what it is, again, I want to lift it up, bring it down, lift it up, and get on my gun. I can do that. Or I can run the LAM system, hit the laser. If I want it completely out of my way there. There you go. All right. Questions, comments about this budget system? You know where to leave it, and I will check you guys out later.